Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this cool stitch. Isn't that beautiful? And it is the same on both sides. That's always good too. I love it when stitches turn out the same on both sides. And it's an easy 2-row repeat. If you know how to single and double crochet, you'll be able to do this. And this stitch will work for many things. You could use, it'd be great for dish towels, washcloths, baby blanket, because it's pretty close stitch. Look at that, a big blanket. You could use it to make sweaters or scarves, nice wrap, anything really that you can think of would really work well. This stitch would really work well for. I think it's beautiful. I love it. It has a little bit of texture there, as you can see. It's a bit bumpy, not much, but it does have some texture. It's very pretty. So you guys want to do it? This stitch is called the staggered pairs. Like I said, beginner can do it. If you know how to double and single, you can do this. Alright? Okay, I'm going to set it to the side. I'm going to ask you, like always, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any videos when I put them on. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to like it and give it a share. Alright, so this is just a stitch sample that I'm doing, but I'll show you the yarn that I used in case you're interested. I'm using, for my particular swatch here, Big Twist from Joann's. It's their Big Twist Soft. It is a 100% acrylic medium weight number 4 yarn. Now, depending on what project you're doing, you can use any weight of yarn and any fiber of yarn that you want with this stitch. The color I have in my hand is called a violet. And also for my swatch here, I'm using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And again, you use the size of hook depending on whatever project that you're doing. Okay, so this stitch is done in a multiple of 4, which means that you can make your chain as long or as short as you want, as long as it is a multiple of 4. Evenly divisible by 4. So I have a chain of 20 right here. So what you get your chain, if you're making a blanket, you know, baby blanket size would, you know, probably using a 4 weight, probably like 132, I think is, yes, is a multiple of 4. So that would probably be a great size for a baby blanket. But other than that, if you're making it for a scarf or whatever, however width you want your scarf for work. Okay, enough talk. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and single crochet in the second stitch from our hook. So we don't count this one that's on our hook. So that one right here is 1, and this one is 2. So we'll go ahead and put a single crochet into that stitch, like that. And now we're going to skip 1 stitch. So we skip 1, and in the next one, we're going to work 2 double crochets. So skip, and then right into the next one, we just work 2 double crochets into the stitch. There's 1, and there's 2, like that. And now we are going to skip again 1 stitch, skip, and in the next stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets. So skip, next stitch, 2 singles, 1 and 2. And now we're going to repeat this until we get to the end of the row. So skip 1, 2 doubles into the next stitch. There's 1, 2, skip 1, 2 singles into the next stitch. There's 1 and 2, skip 1, 2 doubles into the next. Skip 1, 2 singles into the next. And you do this until you get near the end of the row. Skip 1, 2 doubles. Skip 1, 2 singles. I'm going to go ahead and finish out my row here. I'll show you how we will end it. skip 1, 2 doubles, skip 1, 2 singles. Now you should end, skip 1, your last stitch should have 2 double crochets in it, and that's how it should end, just like that. So that is row 1. So rows 2 and 3 are the repeat rows of the stitch. So we'll go ahead and start row 2. We are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It does not count as anything. It's just a turn chain. So we're going to pretend like it's not there. What we're going to do is we're going to go right back into this very first stitch here, and we are going to put a single crochet like that. And then right here is where we put 2 double crochets into the last stitch. We're going to work in between those 2 double crochets and put a single crochet. So there's not really a stitch there that we're working in. We're working in between 2 stitches. Okay, and we're going to put 1 single crochet like that. Now in the next stitch, we're going to start the repeat of the row. So right here is the double crochet of where we put 2 double crochets into the last stitch. We're going to put 2 double crochets into that stitch. There's 1, and there's 2. Now we're going to skip these single crochets from the previous row, and we're going to work in these 2 double crochets here. See them where we put them in the same stitch right here? So in between them, we're not going to do anything into the first double crochet. In between them, pull them apart there, we're going to work 2 single crochets, not in a stitch, but in between those 2 double crochets. We go right in between them, and we're going to work 2 single crochets like that. And then the double crochet here, we're going to put 2 double crochets in top of that stitch. So there's 1 and 2, and then we're going to repeat that again. So we're going to skip these single crochets right here, and we're going to be working in these double where these 2 double crochets are in this stitch. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in between the 2 doubles, not in the stitch, but in between them, 2 singles. So go right in between them and work 2 singles. There's 1 and 2, and then this double crochet here on right here on the last double crochet here of the 2, we're going to work 2 double crochets into it. Just like that. And then we repeat it again. So we skip these 2 single crochets here, and here are our 2 double crochets in the same stitch. We work 2 single crochets in between them. Remember, we do not go into a stitch, we go right in between them, and we work 2 singles. There's 1, and then there's 2, and then this double crochet here, 2 double crochets in the top of it. There's 1, and there's 2. Again, we skip these singles. Right here is our 2 double crochets, so we work 2 singles in between them. We're not putting anything in this double crochet here. In between them, we work 2 singles, and then this double crochet here, we work 2 doubles on top of it. And we're going to do this until we get to the end of the row. Okay, right here is where I put 2 double crochets. I'm going to put 2 singles, like that. And what I'm going to do now is when you get to the end of the row, I put 2 singles in between those 2 doubles. Normally I would put a double crochet 2 double crochets right here in this stitch, this double crochet, but at the end I'm going to put 2 double crochets into my last stitch, which is a single crochet. That's how you end row 2. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to start row 3, which is the final repeat of the pattern. So we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to go right back into the very first stitch and single crochet. And then we are going to single crochet in between these 2 double crochets right here. So just go right there. Single crochet in between them. And right here on this double crochet, we're going to put 2 double crochets into it. So it's very similar to row 2, only we end it a little bit differently. Again, we skip these single crochets here, and we're going to be working where we put 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and they are a little bit slanted, you can see. But right here, we do not work into the stitch, we work in between them, just like before, and we work 2 single crochets. Just 1 and 2, and then we work 2 doubles in the top of this double crochet here. Skip these singles, and then you find your 2 doubles that were put together in the same stitch from the previous row. Work 2 single crochets in between them. And then we work 2 double crochets into this next double crochet. Again, we repeat, we skip these singles, and we find our 2 double crochets that were worked into the same stitch in the previous row, and in between them we work 2 singles, and then we work 2 doubles in the top of the next stitch here, this double crochet here from the previous row. So as you can see, it's pretty much exactly the same as row 2, but we just started, or we end it differently. That'd be the difference in it. Skip these singles, and then we work 2 single crochets in between the 2 doubles from the previous row. Two double crochets on top of the in the next double crochet from the previous row. Skip these singles right here. Okay, I'm coming to the end. This is how we end this. Here are 2 double crochets from our previous row. We put 2 single crochets in them, like that. Alright, so this is how we end row 3. So we did our 2 singles in the middle of our 2 doubles, and normally we put our 2 doubles in the double crochet here from the previous row. We're not going to do that. You can see we have this double crochet and 2 single crochets left on the end. We're not going to put anything into this double, and into the next single crochet we're going to work 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2, and then we're going to put a single crochet into the last stitch. So that is how we end row 3. Now it's just a repeat of rows 2 and 3. So for row 4, I'll repeat row 2. I'll chain 1 and turn my work. And remember that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So I'll go ahead and put a single crochet right into the very first stitch. And then I will put a single crochet, just 1, in the middle of the next, between the next 2 double crochets, like that. And then I'm going to put 2 double crochets into the next stitch, which is the double crochet from the previous row. Skip these single crochets, and then I find my 2 double crochets together right here, and we put 2 single crochets in between the stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the next double crochet. And we repeat this until we get to the end. Remember, I'm just repeating row 2 now. So what I'm going to do is, you can see I put my 2 single crochets into the space between these 2 doubles. Normally I would put my 2 double crochets into this double crochet here, but I'm not. I'm going to put it 2 double crochets into the very last stitch. So there's actually, you skip that double crochet and this single, and then in the last stitch we put 2 doubles like that. And now we're going to repeat row 3 for row 5. So we chain 1 and turn, single crochet right back into the very first stitch, 1 single crochet goes in between these 2 doubles, so just right in between them, and then we start the repeat. We put 2 double crochets into the next double crochet from the previous row, skip these singles here, and then here's our two double crochets from the previous row. We're going to work 2 single crochets in between them like that, just like we've been doing. 2 double crochets into the next double crochet, skip these singles, here's our next 2 doubles. Remember, we're just repeating row 3, 2 singles in between those 2 doubles, just like that, 2 doubles into the next double. We're going to do this to the end, just like we did on row 3. And again, we're going to repeat the ending of row 3. We are going to not put our I put 2 single crochets in the space between these 2 doubles. I'm not going to put anything in this double. I'm going to put 2 doubles into the next single crochet and 1 single crochet into the last stitch, and that. So we just keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until you get to your desired length, and that's how you do it. The staggered paired stitch. It's very pretty. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you were able to follow along. Remember, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and a like, and I will see you guys on my next video. Okay, take care. Bye guys.